spread out. Well, we wanted to draw attention to this having been in the, especially in the 1920s, like kind of a mecca for jazz activity, and this is at a time when Chicago still had many, if not most, of the best jazz musicians working regularly here. Sunset Cafe, you probably saw something about it in the information for Open House Chicago. This opened in 1921, and Louis Armstrong started playing in 1926. And as I mentioned inside, his mentor and previous boss, King Oliver, was playing at the Plantation Cafe, and one of the many white musicians who came to see both of these masters in action was actually over with King Oliver at the Plantation. King Oliver told Muggsy Spanier to send a message. He sent a message over to Louis Armstrong. He said, "Close those windows or I'll blow you off 35th Street." But I think also another interesting quote that ran in the press in the Chicago Defender from Dave Payton, who was like the regular music columnist, pointing out that with Armstrong over here and Oliver over there, he said that 35th Street is likely to burst into flames. And ironically enough, kind of this era in jazz history actually ended with bombings and a fire at the Plantation. There were raids over at the Sunset, but there was actually a lot of Chicago gangland activity. This is, of course, during Prohibition. These clubs were more or less owned and operated by some famous names that are traditionally associated.
Connected with the Plantation Club.
Right. A third club that I didn't mention that was a little bit west of where we're figuring the Plantation was called originally the Nest, and then the name was changed to the Apex Club. And this was an after-hours place where you'd go upstairs and you'd see Jimmy Noon, another great New Orleans musician who played clarinet, with a very small group that sometimes included Earl Father Hines that played piano with Louis over here. And one of the most distinguished visitors, just to give you an idea of the people that were attracted from around the world to come and hear the jazz here. At one time, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra's flautist brought Maurice Ravel, very big name, very famous, very great French composer, to come and check out what Jimmy Noon was doing at the Apex Club. And according to those that were on the scene, Maurice Ravel just shook his head and said that's just impossible to imagine a musician coming up with those ideas and realizing them in playing. He was trying to transcribe Ravel was trying to transcribe some of what Jimmy Noon was just kind of creating on the spot, and eventually he just gave up and sat back and enjoyed the music. But my favorite quote about kind of what's significant about this area in jazz history comes from Eddie Condon, who made the observation with Louis Armstrong, King Oliver, and Jimmy Noon all playing within 100 feet of each other here. He said, "Unless it happened in New Orleans, I don't think so much good jazz was ever concentrated in so small an area. Around midnight, you could hold an instrument up in the middle of the street and the air would play it." Wow. That was music. So we're going to do another number out here on the sidewalk for you that was written and recorded by King Oliver, and it's called Hello Central, Give Me Dr. Jazz.
Wait a second.